Well,
You're going to move this for the third time.
Okay. I've sent a legislative statement, which I'm assuming will eventually be published under the authority of the House. And I move that the Residential Tenancies Amendment Bill be now read a third time. Mr Speaker, the bill makes a number of changes to the Residential Tenancies Act, as we've been discussing at quite some considerable length during the committee stage. And I do want to just thank opposition members for the very useful and constructive questions and comments that were made through the committee stage, and I enjoyed participating. I'm just a bit sorry I couldn't be there for all of the debate, but I was there for a decent chunk of it, and it was, I think, a good example of how the committee stage can help ventilate issues and maybe over time improve the law. So that was good to see. We are a pro-tenant government and a pro-landlord government, and I don't believe there's at a basic level there's not a fundamental contradiction around that. And most importantly, we are a pro-cheaper housing government, because rents in this country are too high, house prices are too high, and we have severe housing affordability challenges. The 2023 census data that was released last week, I think, made very clear. I won't litigate that for the House, but everyone in the House is aware of the appalling state of housing in this country. So this is a suite of sensible pro-tenant and pro-landlord changes to encourage landlords to enter the market, give tenants more ability to secure a rental home, including for their furry family member or indeed non-furry as well. So it increases flexibility and support for landlords to end tenancies, aiming to remove barriers to increasing private rental housing supply, as well as other changes. So we've well canvassed in the House the changes to the tenancy termination provisions in the RTA that will largely return the law to what it was pre-2020. It also reduces, Mr Speaker, changes the rule around the rollover of fixed-term tenancies into periodic tenancies, which is a technical change, but will, I think, make a difference on the margins in markets like Dunedin, Queenstown, and interestingly, I'm advised also Waiheke Island, where a lot of people who would otherwise put their rental houses into the rental market on a fixed term, but are essentially disincentivised to do so because of the near automatic rollover of the fixed term into a periodic tenancy. So it doesn't give them any flexibility or discretion, and as a result, those houses just sit on Airbnb when they could otherwise be in the private rental market. And strong feedback from Queenstown, for example, in 2022 and 3 is that is having a really deleterious effect on the Queenstown rental housing market. Now, clearly there are wider issues in the Queenstown housing market that we need to address, most notably the supply of land and infrastructure funding and financing, and we've got work underway around those as well. I do think it will make a difference at the margins. We've dealt with the issues to do with pet bonds. This is a very positive move for tenants. It will have a positive effect on well-being, and with the way our rental market is, Mr Speaker, it is challenging and sometimes impossible for tenants with pets to find pet-friendly rentals, and so we are embarking on changes which we think will have... thank you. See, the members often get a smile out of the Honourable Karen McAnulty.
Stop the puns.
Not a sausage, Mr Speaker, but... yeah, well, exactly. We've talked about the greyhounds a lot this morning. It's a great day for animals in New Zealand, particularly greyhounds. It's a great week, actually. So anyway, no, I wouldn't give them an exemption. We went through that. I'm not going to relitigate that one. So the major change here is that the bill... What's that? Good day for cat ladies. I'm not going to go there. You mentioned it. I'm not going to go there. I am. Well, we've got a cat as well. We've got a cat as well. That's right. R.I.P. Buzz. So the major change is that we are essentially reversing what we have at the moment, which is making it easier for tenants to have a pet, and landlords can only withhold consent on reasonable grounds. There was a long debate back and forth this morning about what reasonableness means. There's non-exhaustive definitions in the bill, and as I said to the House this morning, there's 140 mentions of the word reasonable in the RTA. The bill enables landlords to require a pet bond if they've agreed their tenant can keep a pet up to the equivalent of 2 weeks' rent. Only one pet bond per tenancy can be required at any one time, even if there's more than one pet. It includes pet consent rules, clarify the rights and obligations of tenants and landlords relating to pets and rental properties. Landlord has to provide a written response to a tenant's pet request within 21 days, stating whether or not they agree with a debate about whether or not 21 was the right number or not. Happy to see how that goes, and we can always change it later. Some submitters thought the term reasonable grounds was too subjective, but as I said before, the word reasonable is consistent with other provisions in the Act. It's important to note that pet conditions must be reasonable, having regard to the nature of the premises and the type of pet. The bill makes tenants liable for the cost of damage caused as a result of keeping a pet that is not fair wear and tear, and this change addresses landlord concerns about excessive pet damage costs and incentivises tenants to take additional care in rental properties. Disability assistance dogs were debated at length this morning, particularly by the Greens. The bill expressly excludes disability dogs as pets, and it's in the interpretation section. These pet provisions, sir, are a win-win. Landlords will have assurance they're not out of pocket for possible damage to their rentals, and tenants will have more rental options, so I think the changes are pretty awesome. The bill also makes a whole range of other amendments. Common sense approach to the issue of smoking, which has been a concern for the sector, clarifying that smoking inside premises can be prohibited. It clarifies and strengthens retaliatory termination provisions, providing it is unlawful for a landlord to serve a termination notice in retaliation to a tenant enforcing their rights or in response to legally enforceable actions taken against the landlord by others. It's a pro-tenant move, and supports efficiency in the tribunal, enabling adjudicators to make decisions on the papers by reference to documents submitted by parties where appropriate. Mr Speaker, this is it's a good step forward for a whole range of different reasons, most notably the pet bond provisions, but most importantly it will provide a bit of extra incentive for landlords to enter the rental market. They are an important part of our property market, they are an important part of our housing situation. Ultimately, as I always say to people in relation to housing, the long-term answers to our housing solution are more houses. We need more rental properties, we need more social houses, we need more market houses, we need more affordable properties. The ultimate answer to all of these issues is land supply, urban zoning, infrastructure funding and financing. We've got work underway around that. This is a positive step in the right direction, and I commend the bill to the House.
The Minister presented a legislative statement and it is published under the authority of the House. The Honourable Kieran McAnulty.
Thank you very much, Mr Speaker. When we did the second reading speech, it came after the Minister spending the entire speech talking about pet bonds. And I thought today...
Okay, sorry, Stacey just messaged that's the reason why I forgot to sit there and stop at that speech there. The Bish.
The Bish. The Bish is a man of contradictions. It's like, oh, we need more houses. Okay, why are filled jobs down? Again, what's going on here, mate?
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. I don't agree with it, but like I do get it. It's the reason why they removed the dual mandate from the Reserve Bank. You know, like their particular economic policy necessitates a certain level of unemployment, and then they also go to make the lives of the unemployed significantly more difficult through the changes they're making through MSD to try and like curtail the impact of, again, this is the most charitable interpretation I can think of, right? To try and curtail the impact of the planned increase in unemployment and get people back into the productive economy as quickly as possible. But the part that is hypocritical, albeit they don't know that, is seeing housing in New Zealand as part of the productive economy. It's anything but.
I mean,
like when you build a house, sure.
Yeah, I mean, this bill is just this bill is just one big Mott and Bailey. It's a logical fallacy. The way how they're talking about pet bonds, they're using it as a means to hide the fact that there are 90-day no-clause terminations back on the table.
Yeah.
They're really doing their best to hide that fact. And it's like, no, I'm not going to ignore that. I'm not. Pet bonds, no one's got a problem with those. Everyone's got a problem with the 90-day no-cause evictions.
I mean, why can't it be split into two bills like they were forced to do with the District Court Judge increasing number of judges amendment bill? It was something like Paul Goldsmith wanted two pieces of legislation put into one that, and it was something like if they split into two, the whole House would unanimously support the increasing number of judges, but not the other one. And this is possibly another segment of, if these bills were split into two bills, they could have actually had a better quality piece of legislation. Why
are they lumped together? Are they that eager to save money? It's like, no, just have them as two separate bills.
You know why.
We know why, yeah.
Trying to put poisonous chalice into the legislation.
Yeah.
Yeah.